What's up, everybody? This is Zach with the Nerd Cave Podcast. Today is episode 237.
237.
I think it's 237.
It could be.
Yeah, this is 237. This coming up week is 238 when we do the live show.
It works for me.
Yeah.
I'm Robbie, by the way.
Yes, this is Robbie, the bearded sultan himself, my root.
Groot. I am Groot. Groot.
If you don't know, everybody, this week on Thursday, we're going to be having our Best of 2017 show. We're going to be playing a lot of games with the community, as well as doing a podcast at the end of the day, kind of going through the best of 2017 from video games to movies to TV shows to biggest news stories to all of that. We're going to be playing some Mario Kart.
Yep.
PUBG is on the docket. You didn't think that would ever happen, that I would play some PUBG, but it is happening. Life is Strange. We got a ton of stuff, so check out on our social media accounts and everything. They'll have the schedules and all of that up there. So make plans for Thursday. Take off work. Be like, boss, I'm sick. And be like, you clearly don't sound sick. Be like, boss, I'm sick. And take off the day and hang out with us. It's going to be a ton of fun. Derek Daniel just recently graduated. Congrats, Derek. He sends in our content each week of what we read off and talk about and discuss and everything. He's going to be coming down. You've probably seen him on the E3 show before, where I utterly destroyed him. But congratulations, Derek, on your graduation. I had to throw out that I destroyed him.
Oh, yeah.
You
got him.
It's just like the Disney song challenge. I have to bring it up
Every now and then.
that I am the reigning champion of the Nerd Cave. One day, Allie will build me a belt. That way I can wear a belt around, like on my shoulder, like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Gotta
Always
do what
have
you
the
gotta
belt,
do.
But that's neither here nor there. Allie this
Definitely
week,
way over there.
Allie this week couldn't make it, but she'll be on for Thursday. So I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. I wished I could have been here all day, but my boss would not believe that I'm sick.
Boss, I'm sick.
Especially when we're down like 4 people. At a
Yeah, and then you're like on a live stream that easily can be found by your
Which
coworkers.
I'm friends with some of my coworkers.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, they'd all hate me because they're at hell and then I'm working.
Yeah.
So,
So there you go, guys.
I don't want to get fired.
Yeah, we don't want you to get involved. We're gonna. What is the Sib Rev?
Follow 'em.
Guys, each and every week we come to you with the nerdy news that you need to know. If you want to get it early, you can go over to the patreon.com/nerdcave. Support us there. Toss us a few dollars. Make Robbie while he ties his shoes. Or if you can't, you got to have those safety ties on your shoes.
That's why I need Velcro.
It's easy that way. The orthopedic supports as well.
Heck yeah.
If you can't support us over there, we understand totally. You can get it for free, day by day, segment by segment, until we put the whole thing up on podcast services around the globe and YouTube. So there you go, guys. That's the podcast right there. We'll see you on Thursday. We're kidding. We're going to actually talk about the news.
Actually, we're not kidding.
Nintendo Switch has topped the 10 million units sold.
For how many months they've been out?
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
Since September, they're up 2.5 million units. Since September. Oh! They're coming for you.
Like, we thought that this was going to be the one that could potentially either
Bomb?
kill Nintendo or
Rise
like the phoenix from the ashes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they've done. They have risen.
September 30th, we saw Switch sales at 7.63 million, meaning that Nintendo has sold nearly 2.5 million units of its hybrid console since then. Nintendo put out a little image, which I think is cute. That's a lot of wahoos, highas, splats, and blue shells, but most importantly,
Blue shells.
smiles.
I hate the blue shell.
So Nintendo previously has announced that it expects the Switch to sell 14 million units by the end of March 2018, and I think they are well on the way. I absolutely love my Switch. I know Christmas time, everybody's getting them. This is the console to get right now.
It
Like, I
is.
know PlayStation, like, they sell really well. The Xbox One X has been selling really well. But this is a console for the whole family
Yeah.
and not just the hardcore gamer. And I think that's why it's doing so well. And there's games. Like, there is game after game. Each month, there is some kind of big title on the system. And, like, me being a PlayStation guy, PlayStation isn't having that right now. They're kind of having third parties again, kind of carrying the torch. 2018 should be a big year for them.
Yeah.
But Xbox is the same way. But Nintendo, man, they're killing it.
And they're getting more and more things that are coming to
Mm-hmm.
the Switch. And I think what a lot of people are enjoying, and I know what Trevor enjoys and you enjoy, is the portability of
Yes.
the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the battery might not last you, 10 to 15 hours,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, it lasts long enough for if you're riding with somebody, or like Trevor on the way back home from Damascus, Alabama on Thanksgiving was sitting there in the back seat playing Zelda.
Yeah.
He made my little sister hold the game while he played it like this, just to be Trevor.
I would have been holding it with both of them. But it's nice to have that. And, of course, you can get a portable battery pack and plug it in and be good to go. But it's so nice to be able to not be stuck in the studio, because that's where I play most of the games, but I can pull it out of the dock and go into the living room while Amy's watching something or we're watching something together, but I can still play. Or she's like, give me a controller, I want to play, and then we start playing Mario or Mario Kart or something like that. So I am excited that Nintendo is breeding competition. That means the other two are going to have to get up on that stick.
Step that game up.
Step that game up. Beerus, Hit, and Goku Black are coming to Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I always get that backwards because I'm used to Dragon Ball Z. Of course, Beerus, the cat god of destruction. Hit is one of the guys from Super Dragon Ball Super. Pretty interesting guy. And then Goku Black is also from Dragon Ball Super as well.
I need to watch Super. I've heard such good things about it.
It's really, really good. I've enjoyed it.
Like, do I have to watch GT or anything?
No. Like it, where Dragon Ball stops, it picks up right after that.
Okay.
So like it cuts GT out of the canon
Like it
completely.
should.
Yeah. I liked Baby Vegeta. I thought he was cool. But
On GT?
Yeah.
There was some really cool aspects of GT. I know we're kind of getting off base.
Yeah.
But
we're talking about Dragon Ball Z.
I mean, GT had its moments of being really cool, but then it had a lot more moments where you're just like, huh?
Yeah, like why was Goku a kid again? Like seriously, like you know what I mean? But there's a lot of cool things in this. The trio characters announced brings the roster up to 24 characters.
That's beautiful.
And like if you haven't seen this is not like Tenkaichi or any of the Budokais or anything like that. It is a side fighter, kind of like Street Fighter or anything
Marvel
like that.
vs. Capcom.
Yeah, but it looks really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, and it's going from Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball Super. Like, there's a lot of content there, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more that goes along with it.
You got your DLCs.
Yeah, all that good stuff. You know it's coming.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z is scheduled for January 26th on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. So I'm excited for it. Like when they first showed it, I'm like, nah, I don't know. But like the more I see it, the more I want it.
Oh yeah.
The more I see you, the more I want you. That's a old jazz hit.
Yeah.
You know what else I want? Burnout Paradise. Did you ever play Burnout Paradise?
I did.
Man, Burnout was so good.
That literally probably next to like Need for Speed Underground.
Oh yeah.
This was my like second favorite like racing game because you got points
For everything.
for everything. Destruction. Like I played the game mode where just seeing how much destruction you can.
Well, it's like we know that you're like. There's some people that sit out there with their like sim racing. They've got the whole thing and all that, and then you got people that can't keep on the course to save their lives. So we're like in that in between. But you're like you get points for destroying things. Of course, we're going to destroy things. Burnout Paradise is supposedly coming to the PS4 and Xbox One in 2018. Criterion Games and Electronic Arts could be preparing a Burnout Paradise PS4 remaster for 2018, along with Xbox One. According to a Brazilian website, Game Press, a supplier in the country sent out a listing which shows Burnout Paradise for the release of March 1st, 2018. Now, this isn't confirmed, but one thing that I like that sticks out about Burnout Paradise is long after its release, it was still getting DLC. Like, it was continually getting DLC for years. And if they do a remaster with all that DLC, my God, that's going to be a big game.
I mean, literally, I'm trying to remember how long it actually got DLC. I know that's besides the point. Like you said, this is going to be a huge game, and I wonder how much they're going to pay. How much you're going to have to pay for it.
I'm not sure. It could go the route of like a Ratchet and Clank or a Crash Bandicoot, where it's like $30 for it, or it could be a $60 game
because you're getting so much content.
Yeah. Burnout released for PS3 and Xbox 360 in 2008, and then Criterion moved away in 2013 from that franchise. So they supported it for quite some time. If you know when they stopped doing DLC, let us know down in the comments below. But I'm excited for the potential of this because even if you're not a racer, love doing the races. Like, it was an open world where you could like destroy the signs and do all these sort of things. So, it's just a lot that you could be doing with the game, which is exciting.
And like you said, you don't have to be a good racer in these games to enjoy it.
Yeah, because all you got to do is murder the person that's beside you.
Oh yeah,
pretty much.
And my favorite part was like after your car, you're just scraping across there, you could press like B or A and it would give you that one last explosion.
Yeah. And you get more points for that last explosion. What if I told you, Robbie, that there was a...
I was going to say the truth is out there.
The truth is out there from an analyst that let slip some things.
Ooh.
What if I told you that Overwatch 2 was soon at hand? And that there might be a new Diablo? Both
of them intrigue me greatly.
There was an article that was put out from CNBC, which is Canadian, by the way. But we'll get to the little quote here. This is from the analyst. We believe that the recent sell-off in video game stocks has largely been due to technical factors relating to positioning around tax reform and does not reflect any changes in fundamentals of groups. We therefore see attractive entry points across our coverage, particularly for ATVI. Analyst Christopher Murren wrote in a note to clients on Tuesday, we are raising our 2019 and 2020 estimates on account of our robust multi-year pipeline games such as Diablo, Overwatch 2, and Blizzard's mobile title, which we don't think street estimates are fully taking into account.
Oops.
Yep.
Spaghetti-o.
I'm sure Activision and Blizzard are very angry right now that this guy has like stabbed the cash cow in the eye.
What I am... when he said that, like the episode of SpongeBob where he's retained all the information, he's trying to remember the name, like filing cabinets are on fire. That's what I feel like Activision Studios was. Like everybody's running around like,
of course, they can't control an analyst or whatever, but I'm sure when they've heard that, hey, someone has let the cat out of the bag and it's the fat cat, and they're like, are you serious? They let Overwatch 2 out. Because Overwatch... Siri, don't talk. Overwatch is a huge thing for Activision Blizzard.
There's still money being poured into it by people wanting the new skins and everything like that.
Yeah.
Well, people hear there's a new game, they're going to be like, there's a new game, Mom, I'm going to put money into it.
You saw it with Destiny 1. Once, Destiny 2 started getting closer and closer, people just stopped really, pouring the money into the silver and everything. And of course you can get all of that stuff for free and all that, whatever. But at least with Overwatch, and I haven't played Diablo 3 in a very long time, but I know it's still going and everything. I enjoyed what I did play of it. But Overwatch it's got such a big support because they keep putting content out. They keep putting they put new game modes recently. They have the seasonal content that gets everybody excited. They've got costumes all the time going in and out, and just different game modes that are constantly going. That's what it needs to keep people in it, because if that dried up and then they just completely focus on Overwatch 2, they would lose a lot. And I think that's the big issue with Destiny, that once they started like focusing on 2 hardcore, 1 just dried up like a shriveled old grape.
Yeah.
And nobody likes raisins.
I kind of like raisins, but I didn't like Destiny 1.
But if you chose between a grape, a nice plump grape, and a raisin,
I want to go with the plump grape, but
Yeah,
don't knock raisins. They're still good.
they're mediocre at best. But I'm curious to see if it's 2019 or 2020, which one fits in that.
Yeah.
I could see Diablo being at 2019 and then Overwatch
2020.
Yeah, 2020. Because if they just keep, putting that content into Overwatch, it will live for a lot longer.
It could live all the way up till Overwatch 2. I was fighting a yawn.
I know, man. I could tell it. I could tell it.
Like, if they keep feeding it, it will last till the new launch of Overwatch 2 or whatever they're going to call it. But, I mean, people are still going to pour money into it because Overwatch is a super fun game. It's addicting. And if you've got good friends, you got a good community.
You know what else is addicting?
Pokemon.
Pokemon Crystal, which was my final Pokemon until I got to like Black 1 and all of that. Pokemon Crystal is coming to the 3DS next month. Nintendo has announced it's bringing Pokemon Crystal to the Nintendo 3DS. The game is launching near the end of January, and it will feature the full Pokemon Bank support, which is awesome because if you store your Pokemon in the Pokemon Bank, you can get them in the other games. So you can go back and get all of the good stuff.
I like the idea of a bank.
Yeah. They've had it for a while, but like it was almost impossible to like trade up your Pokemon to where you could get them in the bank. So now having this where you can put them in the bank, because I don't know if Yellow had it where you could add them to the bank. I think they did Silver and Gold recently. I don't know if they had the bank either, but this having it will be a really cool thing. It will launch on January 26th, and it's only $9.99.
Oh, wow.
So if I had a 3DS, I would get it.
I have a 2DS.
Oh, there you go. You can still play it.
I can still play it.
You know, that's probably my favorite, other than Yellow, is, excuse me, everybody. He's yawning. I'm burping. Is Crystal. Like, I really enjoyed Crystal, like, with the dogs and all of that kind of stuff.
I liked, the dogs were super awesome, but, like, Leaf Green and Fire Red and Crystal are my 2 favorites besides... It's always going to be, Yellow, and then anything else falls by.
Was it Leaf Green and Fire Red just like Green and Red?
Pretty much, remastered.
Because Green actually launched over in Japan first, and then they launched Red and Blue over here. Then they eventually brought Green over here.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Yellow, then Green came out. I just got Yellow because it was closer to the anime than the rest of it. Continue on with Pokemon. Pokemon Go, legendary Pokemon Groudon. Is that how you say that?
I'm proud of you.
Good job, me. Available starting now. The first Hoenn Legendary will be in game until January 15th. Niantic has announced that the legendary Pokemon Groudon will be appearing in Pokemon Go. According to Pokemon Go's official site, Groudon will be spawning in raids today and remain in the game until 1 p.m. Pacific time on January 15th. Now, does that excite you? Is like he a good Pokemon?
Yeah, he's very good. Super rare Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you have him, because I know everybody's wanting to get the legendaries and collect them. Like, I know I've missed out on a few of the birds and a few of the dogs because I quit playing for a while again. Yeah. But now the new Pokemon are out, it only makes sense for him, for Groudon to come out.
Yeah. I've got like a Pidgey.
I'm proud of you, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That's the first one Holly caught, too.
Yeah. I don't remember what my first one was. I didn't play that long. I played a little bit longer of Pokemon Go than I did the Animal Crossing game because I played like all of 10 minutes of it. I set up my cam and I'm like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
Like I know it's for some people, but it's not for me.
Like I said, mobile games, like
I got my Switch for mobile games.
some people love them. Like there's people who will literally, because I've seen bank statements. They will sink so much money into like Google and iTunes for these games, and I'm just
Not for me. Not
Yeah.
for me. On to something that I know everybody has heard, but we are a news podcast. FCC has voted to repeal net neutrality. I actually showed this to my class, like the statements from each of the people on the commission and everything. It was very interesting. Like I know and this is totally different. We saw the Twin Towers fall in in elementary.
School.
We were in 6th grade. Our school was weird. It went K through 6 and then 7th through 12th. So
don't ask.
don't ask, don't tell. But that was a historic day. This has the potential to be very historic as well. Yeah. The commission has voted 3-2 in favor of repealing net neutrality, which there's a lot of stuff going on there. We're not going to get into the rigmarole of it all. But the next step is to likely happen in court. If ultimately adopted, the changes won't take place overnight, but once the rules are removed, internet service providers will be free to experiment with new fees and new ways to bundle content on the internet. The changes could have sweeping implications for gamers who've become substantially more reliant on the internet with the explosion of online gaming over the past 15 years. So it could be, it goes in the court systems. Like you're going to have big corporations like Netflix and all of this that are going to be pouring money into making sure that this stays, like net neutrality stays.
Yeah, and I think it needs to. Like it's something I believe Obama brought in, and I mean it's helped a lot because you don't want your internet companies monopolizing different areas that you can go.
Yeah.
Like if Netflix is partnered with Verizon, which I believe they are, like you'll be able to stream Netflix at great speeds, but if you're on an AT&T phone or AT&T internet, then you might be in trouble.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that we're on the right side of this and everything. Like I watched everybody's speech except for the first lady that spoke. I can't remember her name off my head. She was for keeping net neutrality. It was funny that both the women on the council wanted to keep it, and all the guys wanted to get rid of it. one of my students was
stupid students.
no, one of my students was like, "Of course, it'd be a bunch of stupid men wanting to get rid of something," and it made me laugh.
I mean, yeah.
So let us know what you think about net neutrality in the comments below. I don't know what's going on, everybody.
It's a wild night, guys.
Did you I don't know if you know this. During the hearing, like the net neutrality thing, they actually had to stop. The council stopped because of a security threat.
I mean, people want net neutrality.
Like I was very surprised. It was like we're having to stop because of a potential security threat, and like it went on like hold for a while, and then they came back in. I was just like,
John
all right.
Bernthal walks in with his little white skull on his jacket and teaches people that net neutrality needs to stay.
I wonder if that's going to be season 2. Marvel the Punisher has officially been renewed for a second season. Frank Castle, John Bernthal is officially back in business as Netflix has formally announced the renewal of Marvel's The Punisher for a second season, set to premiere at a still to be determined date.
Finished it.
Yeah, how do you like it?
It's in the running for TV show of the year.
Really?
I mean, it was the perfect blend of violence, humor. I mean, not like forced humor. Like, well, trust me, we'll get into forced humor.
Yeah, we'll get into forced humor.
But like, I mean, it didn't feel forced, and I mean, it's just the action scenes of just seeing Frank Castle take bullet after bullet after bullet, and then just keep kicking butt.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he had his little flak jacket on
and
all that stuff, but like, I mean, even the mind games that were played, like I know that was some of our favorite parts of Jessica Jones, but the mind game in The Punisher was also really, really cool because you really don't know who's a friend and who's an ally until you get further along into the season, and then you start seeing how stuff is playing out. I mean, I put Daredevil, then The Punisher, and then everything else falls under that.
Nice. I know season 2 of Jessica Jones is soon to be coming out. I don't know the date off of the top of my head, but
that's going to be good too.
And you know, seeing that it's been renewed makes me think that Disney isn't pulling out of Netflix as soon as we thought it was.
Which I know I wasn't here. I think I wasn't here last week, was I? Because I'm sure y'all talked about the Disney.
It didn't go through. We're fixing to talk about it. That's the next thing up. You want me to go into it?
Yeah.
Okay, Disney. The empire grows. Disney and Fox finalized deal. The Walt Disney Company and 21st Century Fox Incorporated today has announced that they have entered into a definitive agreement for Disney to acquire 21st Century Fox, including 20th Century Fox film and television studios, along with cable and international TV businesses, for approximately $52.4 billion in stock, subject to adjustment. Bidding on Disney's commitment to deliver the highest quality of branded entertainment, the acquisition of the complementary assets would allow Disney to create more appealing content, blah, 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 blah.
Now, with Disney buying this, I think this opens the door for them to do their own streaming. I don't think it's going to be as quickly as everybody thinks.
Yeah.
Because now this gives them access to all... your Home Alone movies, your Alien, your all the X-Men.
Yeah, we're gonna go through what they own now, but
like
the thing with that, Fox was one of the major shareholders of Hulu. Now Disney is the major shareholder of Hulu.
Yeah, I was going to get into that because they want to churn. They want to turn Channel 10. Which is your normal Fox channel and your
at least here. I don't know if it's anywhere else.
Your Fox channel, like FX and all that stuff. Like they're wanting to turn your main Fox channel into more of a reality TV show, news and sports. Like that be your sport outlet, and then have some of your shows might not be getting renewed for a new season after the 2018 run of these shows. Because that's when you're really going to start seeing an effect is 2019.
Yeah. Well, and what gets me is, did they not sell the sports part of it?
They did. Now ESPN and Fox Sports, which are your two major sports rival, are now under the same umbrella.
Yeah. So now all you have is CBS.
That's your only...
With old Vern.
Good old Vern and Gary.
Didn't he retire?
Gary retired, but you can't say Vern without Gary. But like, and it irks me a little bit because it was always ESPN, Fox, CBS, and they were all three separate heads, and they reported on sports. And now, like ESPN has fallen off.
ESPN has definitely gotten worse over the years.
And I think that's why they're bringing in Fox to kind of issue in a new era of ESPN. I think they still keep Fox Sports, but I mean, ESPN's been flopping, and like Fox Sports had turned into my main go-to.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that because they were always like the rivals in sports.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that they've bought all of these things, and it's starting to create like they almost had a monopoly as it is in movie side of things. But like you look at television, like they've got even bigger of a monopoly. They've got sports, they've got news, they've got television, like kids television, they've got adult television. Like, the only people that are holding out are CBS and Warner Brothers, really. Like, and of course, you have, like, even National Geographic is part of this deal. Like, look, like it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing at the same time.
Because Disney's going to give you what you want. Like, there's a few things that scare me. The Deadpool.
The Last Jedi.
They most of the time give you what you want. Like I'm scared to see what they're going to like Deadpool.
But look at the Punisher.
That's true.
Look at the Punisher. You know what I mean?
I think that seeing the Punisher like for what it was gave me more like I'm more relieved about it. Like I think
Yeah.
it's still going to be what we needed it to be. But I mean, there's
Like, I don't think Disney kills a cash cow.
no, not at all. And I know we're about to talk about
Mm-hmm.
what all they're getting, but think how many times have you watched a movie and you hear boom, ba-da-da, like you hear the opening Fox, like 20th century, 21st century Fox.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like, and now that is already with a group that not only owns all your Disney movies, they own your Star Wars movie, your
Pixar.
Marvel, Pixar. I mean,
They own Miramax as well, you know. Like when people bring up the whole, you know, like violence thing, of course you got your Netflix stuff, but they own the people that made Kill Bill.
yeah.
You know, so like as long as
Was
it's
that Miramax?
yeah, that was
That was
Miramax.
Miramax.
You know, as long as it's not like Disney like itself making, you know.
Yeah, like they're gonna have their outsourced,
Yeah.
you know, publishers and
Yeah.
and different directors and all that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So, you know, it has a lot of potential that, but then you look at, you know, there was supposed to be a Simpson world at Universal Studios.
Does that happen at
No, it
I-
doesn't.
I was about to say,
It's not going to happen at Disney.
Yeah.
But, you know, you've got rides that are already in place at Universal, like the Hulk and, you know, all of this kind of stuff. So, like, if things are in place, it
Well, also Disney just opened up Pandora, which, if I'm correct,
Avatar, yeah.
Avatar was Fox.
yeah, Avatar was kind of like one of the crown jewels on this. So here are ongoing franchises that could possibly be brought in: Alien and Predator. Avatar, which is, you know, it made $3 billion in the box office, so they're definitely very happy about that. The Die Hard franchise, Fantastic Four.
Which I don't think we ever see another Fantastic Four movie.
I think they bring Doctor Doom in and Galacticus, but
I mean, talking about like in a standalone film themselves.
yeah, I think if they do anything, they do it. They'd have to be very careful about it, and they have to do it very well.
Yeah.
Like they have to do it extremely well, and I don't know if that's the case. And we talked about, I don't know if you were on the show, they already have movies planned after Phase 4. I think Fantastic Four might be in the next part. Because the MCU is supposedly going to die or be done after Infinity War. They might be in the next part of it.
We just have to see. I'm excited about the next one.
Kingsman, which there's already plans for a third Kingsman. The Martian and Artemis. Of course, the Martian was critical box office success.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just and Artemis is kind of the next one of
Yeah.
that. This one actually kind of surprised me. The Planet of the Apes.
That's
Like
huge.
that is a huge get.
Huge.
Because like the last 3 films have done really, really well. Andy Serkis is kind of like the head of that. Like, you know, he's kind of like the
Yeah.
ambassador for the Planet of the Apes and everything. So, and that's been going on since 1968. War for the Planet of the Apes performance was compensated by a strong overseas showing and grossed $490 million worldwide. So that's a lot.
And that's big. And the old, I know the Red Sparrow, but they're also getting your older Star Wars movies. Because
Yeah. Because Fox distributed A New Hope originally, so that original version of Star Wars was owned by Fox.
Yeah.
So that's why they only continually like put out the re-releases, because like I don't know how they got around that. But they do say that they're probably not going to release the old versions because George Lucas doesn't want it, and they would think that would be a slap in George's face.
Oh, yeah.
But Red Sparrow, which is the new Jennifer Lawrence movie that's coming out, that's about the spy and everything. But there's books based on that. X-Men.
Yep.
Like X-Men is huge, and
We're even getting the horror X-Men
Yeah.
film coming. So I mean,
New Mutants. I'm curious to see if they pump the brakes on any of the projects that are like with this.
like I said earlier, some of your stuff will get canned, but I think they move to other networks. Like your Gotham and Lucifer, all that stuff is safe because that's a Warner Brother property. but you're going to get some of your other shows that may get canceled, but they might get picked up by a CW or ABC or well, not ABC, but like CBS.
Yeah. So it'd be very interesting. Like X-Men, in my opinion, I know Infinity War has like already wrapped and everything, but I'd pump the brakes on Infinity War and I'd get the X-Men and the Fantastic Four in it. Like at least
they're huge parts.
At least the big battle. Like I'd get something going on there.
Someone, I cannot remember who. I think it might have been Jeremy Branch, because I was on his podcast earlier. We talked about it, and he said, I mean, if you have this huge war with Thanos and Fantastic Four or X-Men's not there, but they're in the same universe and they pop up in the movie, you're gonna be like, where the heck were you guys at?
Why didn't y'all help us?
were you on vacation or something? Like
down in Fiji.
But I mean, if you think about it, that does make sense.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a potential world-ending affair, you're going to have everybody
and the grandmother, like Aunt May, is going to be out there.
The Avengers all the way to the Defenders.
Yeah.
I know the Defenders can't do as much as Iron Man and Thor.
Yeah, but like they can at least do something.
They can fight off the little aliens.
Yeah. So like, to my point, like if I was Kevin Feige, I would be like, okay, we've got to get them in somehow. Like we've got to do something. Even if it's like just a cameo throwaway, like they're like, you see the the Human Torch like fly by or something like that. Something
like have a huge fight montage scene like we've seen in all of the Avengers and stuff like that. And like you might see Mr. Fantastic or Sue or the Thing or even Cyclops or somebody fighting off, but not have them have like major roles in the movie.
Yeah, like just like big epic battle scene. Put these characters in there, and like you don't even have to get close up on the face. Like you could just see somebody going, shooting lasers out of their eye.
Or you see a woman fly up in the sky and like strike a ship or something.
Yeah, with lightning.
That storm.
Yeah, like that would be really cool and an easy way, like
to tie them.
I'm saying easy. I'm not like the graphic artists. Putting CGI in there. It's
the CGI guy's
easy.
Like, screw you, Zach.
Hate mail. But that would be a good way to tie in these new characters into it, because I know they're all about tying everything together. This is your chance to do it, and you've got a few months to make this happen. And it's almost like in Doctor Strange they mentioned, oh God, what is Cyclops' name?
Scott Summers.
Yeah, they mentioned Scott Summers. Not in Doctor Strange. They mentioned him in Captain America.
Winter Soldier. No.
Yeah, Winter Soldier, whichever the second one was. Yeah. Like they mentioned him like in the list of like potential threats. So that would be like he's already been mentioned in the MCU just by like a name, okay, not showing him or anything. That would be the way to do it. Like get them into the fight in some way.
There's ways that it should be done. And I think it needs to be done before Infinity War comes out, because like I said, it's going to throw in all kinds of continuity errors.
Mm-hmm.
If you're such a hero, why weren't you here for the big battle? Like, I mean, and that's going to, if people are paying attention, like they're going to ask the same questions that I just asked. Where were they when this was happening? And if you don't throw them in there, it's just going to, one, make the whole franchise look dumb. Like, you can't have these new characters that you just got, licensed for and everything like that, and not have them in the biggest, like where you're pulling in everybody from Thor, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Squirrel Girl might even show up. Who knows?
Yeah, you're bringing in all your Marvel big guns, and you're leaving the Human Torch, Mr. Fantastic, Cyclops.
Those are like X-Men and the Fantastic Four are like A-list.
Yeah,
characters that they're just going to leave on the table. But Bob Iger did confirm that they will be joining the MCU. We don't know when, but he did say this: "We have the opportunity to expand iconic franchises for new generations of fans, just as we have done with Marvel and Star Wars. We're also looking to forward to expanding to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, including X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Deadpool." So, like, they're... saying all of those, like that confirms, like they're going to use them. They bought them to use them. And they don't buy things not to use them.
Yeah.
Here are some things that could be rebooted. And I'll just go down the list a little bit. Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Alvin.
They've made about the last one made about 86 million. The Road Chip.
I never
I watched the first one.
I watched the first one. That's about as far as I got.
Dr. Dolittle, which I loved, the original Dr. Dolittle, not Eddie Murphy, but I'm talking about the original Dr. Dolittle.
The original.
Yeah, very, very good movie. Home Alone, of course, that would be a really easy one to remake, and I think it would do really well. Ice Age, huge franchise. I think they've ran it in the dirt.
I don't think we need to see another one. Not at the museum. I'd be cool with.
Yeah, I think they could do something different. Don't bring back Ben Stiller. Do something totally different, and I think it'll do really well. I would love to see them take on Percy Jackson
and do it right.
Yes,
Fox. I know we've crapped on Fox a lot for screwing.
I'm gonna just say this. We don't have to worry about Fox making crappy movies off of our books anymore.
It's true because Percy Jackson and Aragon are your two leading. These are the poster child of Fox dropped the ball. Like they literally they had
something that could be on the same stage as Harry Potter.
Like the writers looked at the books, are like, we could read this and know what we're talking about. Or
we just read the back cover.
We could just Wikipedia and come up with our own stuff. And they're like, good idea. And they just throw the books off the table. But,
I will admit, the first half of Aragon is pretty hard to read.
It is.
But after that, it's awesome.
But when you look at those franchises, how many movies start off that are slow, but they end great? You might have to suffer through about 20 minutes of a movie to get to the really good parts when he's learning, different things. But Percy Jackson, I was like, okay, Fox, here's your second chance. This is a great franchise. Don't screw it up.
Screwed it up.
And they screwed it up.
And then they made another movie and screwed it up too.
And so I would love to see them, redo that and Aragon. I brings hope that Aragon could even be.
And what I like, and I know this is probably not something that people would think of it. I don't want live action. I would love to see Pixar take on Percy Jackson.
And you're right. It does not have to be a live action movie. How many times have we sat and watched a DC animated movie and loved it more than we've loved DC live action movies?
Yeah. I really do think in the bottom of my heart that Pixar would do an amazing job because these are kid-friendly movies, like books and everything. And I think Pixar this could help them as well get away from making another sequel to another movie. Yeah. I'm not saying don't make Incredibles 2. You better keep making that one.
I mean, yeah, that's fine, but adding onto this Toy Story world or adding on to, we might have a Fox and the Hound 5,
Well, that's not.
That's
not
I'm just going off of movies that they.
Yeah.
But make this an animated movie and see what happens.
Of course, the X-Files, which we saw recently.
They've picked up.
They picked up with another season and everything.
Friend of the podcast, Mitch Pileggi, made an appearance back onto the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
there you go. Along with all of that, they did pick up some award-winning movies.
Yeah.
The Chronicles of Narnia, which is really good series.
We can't talk about this next one.
Fight Club. Independence Day. MASH.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm assuming that is worth calling. Disney owns distribution rights, one of the bigger rated shows. So they own not just the movie, but the TV show now. I love MASH.
They're so powerful.
The Maze Runner, key TV shows. They've got The Simpsons. They got Family Guy, The Gifted, Legion, American Horror Story, The Orville, This Is Us,
Modern
Family, 24, and Prison Break. So
now a lot of those shows aren't your typical Disney.
No, but then again,
neither is the Punisher.
Neither is the Punisher and Kill Bill and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, but I mean, because I know American Horror Story, it got to parts where I can handle just about anything, and I'm just like, oh my
Well,
God.
you know, it does really well though. So
It does. They're
like,
not gonna get rid of it.
if they like the only one that I think in this list, like Prison Break, I know they're hinting at coming back. I don't know if Disney goes through with that because I don't think there's steam in that ship anymore.
After season 2, like you can only break out of a prison so many times till it gets redundant. Quit getting caught.
You know, Modern Family, like that's been pretty
huge.
big as well.
It's hilarious.
The
too.
thing that I think gets cut is The Simpsons. The Simpsons have been going on for a very long time, and I don't think they're staying as relevant as they should be. So I think The Simpsons get cut, and that's the end of that one.
And that's going to be hard because there's still so many diehard Simpson fans.
I understand that, but
in the end of the
when
day,
you
it's gonna
look at like The Simpsons has like slowly been dying over the years, and I know like you can at me all you want, but it is what it is. Like they even got rid of the guy that has been composing their music for so long to save on their budget. So like it might be an end of an era, but like you got to look at it in this could be bringing something new. Like like The Simpsons, like it's like Brett Favre coming back out of retirement again.
God.
Like
No more.
Brett Favre should have retired the first time and stayed retired because that would have been a good way to end the story. Now he's just a joke and being used as a metaphor to compare. Actually, that was a simile because I used like. But you know what I mean.
He could sell a pair of Wranglers like nobody
He could
else.
sell a pair of Wranglers and that like arm like band
the
thing.
the gold band or whatever.
It's something. It's got like metal looking stuff on it. You know
the old people band.
Yeah, the old people band. But like with this transaction, there's a lot of things that come with it.
Oh yeah.
And there's also some trepidation that I have about this because Disney now owns so much of like the movie industry, the television industry. I'm competition breeds a lot of things. Competition.
I fear complacency.
Yeah, I do. And moving into complacency, let's talk about Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Now
I don't get me wrong. This movie isn't complacent. It does a lot of stuff in a short amount of time.
exactly, like because I know me and you, we had a good talk last night on the phone, and we said it had great moments, but it had a lot more scratch your head moments.
Yeah, it was like, what's going on? So let me propose this. Would you suggest someone going and watch this movie?
I would, because I think even though a lot of things ended how we didn't care for them to end, I think it's still a big part of the Star Wars cinematic universe, and I think it has its moments where I'm like, you have to see this part I mean, it's a great experience. But and if people like I phrased it like this, like, oh, what did you think of it? I was like, good, not great, good.
Not Force Awakens.
And I literally said that to my cousin. He's like, "What'd you think?" I was like, "It's not the Force. It didn't have the Force Awakens feel that I had."
I didn't cry.
Yeah,
I can cry at everything.
and that's how I look at it. I was like, "It's not the Force Awakens, and it's good, not great." I mean, are we going to go into?
Let's give the non-spoilery side of it, and then we'll like tap our head and all that good stuff, and then we'll do some spoilers, light spoilers, but no spoilers right this second.
Yeah.
Okay. Like for me, I thought the pacing was just like kind of all over the place.
Like there'd be moments when it was, I mean, slow, and you're like, okay, it's like, why is this? And then all of a sudden, like you're like, what's this? What's that? What's that? You know?
Yeah. It's like going through a bookstore, and then like halfway through the bookstore, like it is.
You just lost it.
I just lost it, but
it turns into the floor is lava, and you're running around.
Yeah. And it's just kind of, it was a lot of places all over the place. I think a lot of the stories that were being told could have been like side stories, like side mentions.
Yeah.
But we've been introduced to all of these characters, and everybody's important. They should have took a a note or a page out of Game of Thrones book and learn how to deal with multiple characters and how to tell their stories. Not the current, not the recent season where
Yeah.
they speed up time and do whatever they want, but I'm talking about when like George R. R. Martin, they were still following his book.
Yeah.
Because that's what it felt like. It felt like we were just kind of jumping here and there, here and there, here and there, just to try to hit everybody's stuff. Poe Dameron's story, like that was such a waste of time.
Because, like, when you have Poe Dameron from The Force Awakens, you were like, this guy is going to be freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And
He was actually not supposed to be alive. Like, he was supposed to die.
but everybody liked him so much, or what?
Like, they kept him on for, I can't remember why. I think they
That's
just liked
weird.
him as an actor or whatever, and they kept him on.
I mean, you do kind of get that feel, like in the
Like, in
second
this movie,
Yeah.
definitely, there was no writing for him.
Like, I mean, they had to. I mean, I felt like he was forced in at a few points. Like you said, his story really didn't matter. Like, I mean, he wasn't going to be the commander of anything. Like, I mean, he was just one of the. I felt like one of the many throwaway characters that we've had in this, and a lot of them should not have been throwaway characters.
Yeah, and that's the trouble with it is that, Oscar Isaac did a really good job. He is a good actor.
Yeah, I loved him as Poe Dameron, but there was parts where he was a bit much.
But it didn't work. It didn't work at all. And Laura Dern being in there as like the Admiral, whatever her name was, I don't remember.
Purple hair?
Yeah, purple hair girl. Like,
Purple hair?
not spoilers. It didn't work. Like what we had talked about when we get into spoilers, that should have been the way it happened.
Now, we were introduced to a new character.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of Rose?
Like, setting her up when you see her touching the medallion that her and her sister share or whatever had,
Yeah.
the same one. I'm like, okay, I know who this is. I know why she's crying. All of this. The setup was good. The rest of it kind of felt like she was just another sob story. She was like something put into the movie to like pull at the heartstrings.
I liked her spunk.
Yeah.
Like, I liked how the character was written, but there was like, she was thrown in there to
She
be.
cried too much.
Yeah, like when you see her go to that the non-spoiler version, the planet, and
Yeah.
she's seeing everything.
The CGI planet.
Yeah.
What happened to practical effects?
But like you see a lot of them. Like, I mean, I felt like a Hallmark movie at some points where there's so many emotional moments with her. But like overall, I think she was a decent add-in. I liked the character, but I just didn't like how they used her. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And like her and Finn's story, it was like there were so many missteps here. Like there were so many things that could have been really cool, but it was just kind of like, whatever. Like, and when we get to the spoilers part, I'll go more into that.
Their story could have been so much cooler.
Yeah.
So much cooler if what we talked about last night would have actually happened.
Yeah.
Now, what were your thoughts on like forced humor?
Oh
'Cause
man,
I know there's been a lot of that brought up.
the forced humor in this, like the Last Jedi does it so much that it is like, I'll use this. When I think a joke is really funny, and I say it, and I say it again,
Yep.
and I say it again,
They
I
zacked-
say it again.
They zacked us.
They zacked us. Like, I can admit how I do jokes.
Oh, yeah.
But like it was just all the time, and like one of my students even said this, like when Rey gives the lightsaber, what Luke does after that, it's like, we have waited for 2 years. That is a slap in the face, just for a little slapstick joke.
And that, I know that pissed a lot of people off because it irked me.
Like
people, I guess they're not, understand. I'm not saying people are dumb or not like that, but I guess they don't understand like how that could have been set up to be a super cool moment.
Yeah.
But like everybody was like dying laughing, and like I'm like, why are y'all laughing? I was like, that right there started off the movie poorly for me. I was like, that sucked.
Like it felt like Ryan Johnson. I don't remember if he wrote this or not, but it felt like they were trying to make Luke as close to Yoda and like his humor, like at the very beginning, but like Luke was kind of a little bit all over the place where he was like this curmudgeon and then he was this comedic person. Then he was this curmudgeon. Then he was like, it was just like, he was like a fish just out of water. Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, no, Luke is not that. Like, I know what Luke is. And like, as the movie went on, he became more of the Luke that he should be. At the very beginning, it was like, which one am I getting here? You know?
And that wasn't right for this movie.
Now, with let's see who I want to talk about before we get into the spoilery stuff. I think Kylo Ren's story arc
Adam
was great.
Driver.
Yeah.
I mean, he was my favorite part of this entire movie.
Yeah.
Like, I loved how his story took we were thinking, I'm like, oh, could he be turned to the light side?
Yeah.
And I mean, this kind of put a
definitive answer on it. But like his story, like it was done really well. On the other side of that coin, I think Rey suffered the most in this movie.
It took a step back from the first one.
Like, I was just kind of like, all right, like I don't feel as Rey is as strong of a character as she was in the first movie. And that was the biggest thing that we were, kind of like touting about the movie is like, man, they've got a strong female character that, just is a really good embodiment of, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. But now it's like, it's kind of like the same old. Like there wasn't really much development for her. So for me, I suggest people go watch this. I don't hate the movie. I'm not in love with the movie. Like we've said, there are some really cool parts, and we're going to start talking about those here in just a second. So if you haven't watched the movie, you can tune out after this.
Do that.
But there are other parts that really take away from what this movie could have been. And that's where, to me, I think it falls short compared to
The
Force Awakens, and even Rogue One. Like, Rogue One was a really good movie.
You said it best last night. This is as close to the Phantom Menace as we've gotten in a long time.
Yeah.
And because Jar Jar was the comedic, like that one had a lot of forced humor with Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
Well, Last Jedi is our Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. And, like they fired the directors of the Han Solo movie. I can't even remember what the tagline is anymore, but Han Solo something stupid tagline because it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
They fired them for making it very comedic. If that was very comedic, Lord, I would have hated to see that movie.
But you got to think, Han, Lando, and Chewie, that one comedic could work for them. Yes, they have their very serious moments, but they also have their comedic moments. But like if they got fired and then you give us this, that must have been like they had the in that movie.
Yeah, and like they had like
the
the
movie.
flowers squirting water out and everything. Yeah, like the Three Stooges are on set. So for me, it's still worth going to watch. It is a Star Wars movie, of course. The cinematography is great. The graphics are great. I think they use CG too much.
Yep.
In a lot of places, that's one of my bigger, like the forced humor and the CGI that's just forced down our throats. A lot of it reminded me of prequels era Star Wars. So I'm hoping that with J.J. Abrams coming on board for the 9th one, that we'll right the ship and we'll finish this trilogy out with the right thing. What scares me is that Ryan Johnson has his own trilogy. Like, I wish J.J. would have had this whole trilogy for himself.
And because I think J.J. did it right on Force Awakens. He had us crying at moments and then, loving others.
Yeah, and laughing in the right places.
Yeah. But, I mean, this one just kind of had us all over the place and not with, good... there was some really awesome parts, don't get me wrong. But they had us scratching our head more than anything.
All right, so there is our spoiler-free review or impressions. We don't do...
Impressions.
Yeah, we do impressions here. We're here to impress you of The Last Jedi. I almost said The Force Awakens.
Are you ready for this?
All right, here we go. Here's spoiler time. Robbie's going to touch his head now.
Boop, boop.
All right. Freaking Leia flying around like she's freaking Superman.
So freaking dumb.
I'm like, what the crap is this? Like, seriously, what is that? What is that?
You had the best way that you could have sent Carrie Fisher off.
Like, it was an emotional moment. Like, I'm like, they're about to do this.
Like, waterworks were getting ready for me. Like, I was getting ready. Like, I was like, this could be the last time we see Leia.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden she, I guess, like a little shimmer type thing. Like, I guess putting a force shield around her or whatever. Or that could have just been crystallization on her face. But then
she was like freezing in the vacuum, and then she just like flew around like she's a freaking Green Lantern.
And I'm like, come on, guys. It's like that could have been the perfect setup, because you even said, write it a little differently where Luke does survive.
Yeah, like Luke lives. Leia's like, I understand why they probably kept her in, because she had more scenes. I understand that, but you're not going to have her in episode 9. I'm sorry. Like, that is the truth. You've decided not to do the whole CG face thing and all of that, which I applaud y'all for.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate that not happening, but this was the perfect way to send her off.
Now we have to figure out
what is she going to do?
Are you just not going to have her in the film at all?
Yeah.
Because she had nothing filmed for 9.
Yeah, nothing filmed from 9, and now we have no old cast members guiding the new cast, because that's
Chewie.
literally, we've got Chewie,
R2, and C-3PO.
Yeah, and like, that's another thing, real quick. Mark Hamill and R2-D2 have one scene together. One scene together, and that's it. You don't see R2 anywhere near Luke. They were freaking friends forever.
The best of friends. Like, they shared so many emotional moments when Luke first picked him up on Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
And they grew together. That started Luke's adventure was getting R2.
And R2 was his droid in the X-Wing. Like, I just don't understand that. That part right there, I'm like, I don't think you know what you're doing here. Like,
no,
you know what I mean? Like, that relation right there is such a big thing. And like, him not being with Luke at the end, all through Force Awakens and the end, he comes back and all of this, but then have one scene with R2. R2 would have not left his side the rest of the movie.
I mean, are you going to count a flashback scene as a scene?
No, I'm not counting that. I'm talking about in current timeline. One scene with him, R2 would have not left his side.
No, like, R2 literally shut down because he was not with Luke.
Yeah.
And he's just going to be like, oh, Luke's back. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop. Like,
I wish I could make you understand. And that's it. Like,
now, what did you think? They didn't use Chewbacca hardly at all either. Like, Chewbacca was like
Porg.
Like it was him and Porg in the ship when they fought on the salt land or salt planet.
And when he's trying to eat one.
And then when he ate one and then knocked in Luke's door. Those are really the only 3 Chewie parts we got. And with Han being killed off in the last movie, you would have thought that Rey and him would have been closer, that you would have seen him a little bit more. But I mean,
like, it felt like they were kind of phasing him out as well. Like, he's just the pilot, And like, they mentioned, Han being gone. They showed Chewie being sad, which I appreciate. But that was really as far as it got, other than him trying to eat the porg. And they're all like, which was funny. That was like, that comedic moment was fine.
There was that, and like, when like he was asking, where are you from? And she's like, he said something like, nobody's from nowhere. And she's like, I'm from Jakku. And he's like, that's pretty much nowhere. Like, that part had me laughing. The pork part had me laughing. But
I'll even accept the part where he's like, reach out. And she like does that. And like, he has the thing. And like, he's like, do you feel it? It's like, yes.
I feel it.
He's like, that's the Force. like, that was fine. But it was just, Okay, so we talked about the lightsaber moment. Just chunks
it off the cliff.
I'm like, what the crap is this?
That was your first lightsaber.
Yes.
Like, I know you've made mistakes and everything like that, and you want to forget about the Jedi Order. But, I mean, to throw that and for us to, like you said, wait 2 years for us to be able to see what he says. Like, we like on the edge of our seats, and when it cut to black, we were just like, what's his reaction? What is he gonna do?
Yeah.
And then we get to the Last Jedi, and he just
and then walks on. Doesn't even say anything.
I'm just like, really? That's what the buildup was?
Not like, where did you find this? This was lost on Bespin. Where did you find this?
Did you find my hand while you were?
Yeah. Like, it's all of these questions. And, like, I said this last night. The Force Awakens left a lot of questions. Good questions.
Yep.
Like, who is Snoke? You know, what are these things? What is this going to happen? Who's Rey's parents? Blah, 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 blah. Where's Luke? What are they going to do? Blah, 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 blah. All of this. And like I said last night, it was like that one kid that you see these like pictures of like exams or whatever, and like the kid just answers like dumb stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's what The Last Jedi felt like in a lot of places, was like that kid in your class that just answers the worst and like quickest way. And that's where a lot of them felt like. It felt like a lot of these answers were answers we didn't want. Like, they were not thought out. They were the easy answers. They weren't the hard answers.
Yeah, like, I mean, do you really think that Rey's parents are nobodies?
Yeah, just a bunch of drunks. Like, it, in defense of that, it makes sense that she doesn't have to be born from, you know, some kind of Skywalker or anything. But at the same time, it's like, that is a really bad payoff.
Because she's,
you know, like
with her being so strong in the Force, like, I mean, it would have made sense that her and Kylo are like brother or cousin or something, or out of the same bloodline. Something I did really like was at the end when you saw the kid and like he just pulls the broom into his hand, and like, you know, it shows the ring that Rose gave him. Like, there was really cool parts in the movie, but then you had a lot of, like I said, the CG planet that was cringe-worthy.
It was like, okay, we've established that we're going to use practical effects in this. You know, as much practical effect as we possibly can on this. But when we got to like the first space battle, like you look into the cockpits and it's like all CG. Like, the person's been like put into the CG plane. It just didn't look good. And then the CG planet, it's like, why don't I like this? And then you realize that it's all CGI.
Yeah.
And it's nothing is like, you know, and along with that, like Finn and Rose's like mission to find the guy with the red flower thing on that. They find him and then never go after him because they find the other guy. Like, this whole mission, this whole thing, all this big stuff and all this, and they don't even go get the guy that they were supposed to get.
Like, I was like, maybe this is the guy and he just lost his jacket or something in like a poker match or a heist, and like, nope, he turns out to be a douchebag.
Yeah, and Benicio del Toro did a really, like, I enjoyed that character, but
is that Rose?
No, that's the
traitor.
Slicer.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed his character and how he acted and everything, but it was just like Finn's and Poe's like whole arc for this movie was a waste of time.
Now, would you have rathered him have died instead of Rose saving him? Like a send-off? It wouldn't have done nothing to save him.
Are you talking about Finn? Or
yeah, Finn.
I don't want any of them to die necessarily, but like it
wouldn't have done anything. Like I'm saying,
yeah,
they still would have, you know, they wouldn't have found the way out or anything, and nobody was obviously coming from the distress beacon.
Yeah,
so they would have died of hunger.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it was just kind of on that. Phasma, what a waste! What a waste! Like, don't even bring her back if you're just going to kill her off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was a dumb way. One of the forced humor parts, you know, when he falls off in the lift and he bops her in the head and she falls down and the thing falls away. I'm like, Really? I was like, that's
Yeah.
the best way that we could send out a freaking BA character. Like,
Yeah.
Phasma was a great idea. Like,
Yeah.
she was super cool.
It's just poorly executed.
Another huge waste of a character for me, and I know you feel the same way, but Snoke.
Snoke, yeah, my God.
Killing Snoke off that way?
Like, I don't mind him dying. I don't mind all of that, but we've been building, as fans, you know, this guy is as powerful or more powerful than the Emperor. Like, that is what we've been shown in this. Like, he literally created a force link between Rey and Kylo Ren and lied to both of them to make things happen. Like, he literally was manipulating people through the force. For him to be killed like he was just like, what is this?
Like, I know he wanted to see Kylo turn and he wanted to see Rey dead, but like when he's like, and he's about to strike down his worst or biggest enemy, and like you couldn't see, you couldn't do anything to think that, oh wait, what are the Sith beliefs? The rule of two. There should be
one master, one apprentice,
one to have power and one to want
it. Yeah.
And then they're supposed to kill the master. Like you would have thought that would have
been in his mind. It just, we've been like, who is this guy? You know what? You know, like, is it Plagueis? Is it, you know, Sidious and Reincarnate? You know, like, what's up with his face? It's all jacked up and all of this. And you have Andy Serkis doing this, like a great actor. You know, done Smeagol and all this. You know, done Caesar from Planet of the Apes. And then it's just like,
I mean, are we going to? I mean, after this, you're probably not going to get a mention. Like, you'll get mentions, but you won't ever find out who Snoke really was.
No, and I think that is just a. It's just a waste.
I feel you.
It's just a waste. Now, we've dogged on it. What is your favorite part of the movie?
The fight scene right after Kylo kills Snoke.
Yeah,
with him
that
and
was
Rey
really, really cool.
Fighting off, like, somebody on the group said that they were the Knights of Ren.
No
way.
No, they're Imperial Guards.
Like, they're not Imperial Guards. There's a special name for them because I found a pop figure with their names on it, and they're not Imperial Guards.
But they're like Imperial Guards.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
And like that fight scene was freaking sweet.
Yeah.
I liked Yoda coming back, but I didn't like you
as
said,
far as they went. With
like
that.
It would have been cool if it was like Yoda Ghost, like back in the older movies when he's just helping Luke and like, you know, different people like with
advice, wisdom.
Yes, and that's
deal.
that's what Force Ghosts are supposed to be, not being able to call down lightning from the sky. Like, I mean, if you're
is he Thor now?
He might be worthy, but what I don't understand is if they have that much power, why aren't they fighting with the Jedi to help take down Snoke and the First Order?
Yeah,
I mean,
that was a
cool to see, but I didn't like how he was used.
Yeah, I think they could have used him a little bit better. I did really enjoy that fight scene, though. Like, it was really well choreographed. They're definitely, like, more raw in their fighting styles. They're not as clunky as the original trilogy, and they're definitely not as well versed and trained as the first one. But it's very just kind of like you would see like a knight from like medieval time. That's more of like the style that I'm seeing from them. And then like the original trilogy was more kind of like fencing, and then the other one was just kind of like crazy awesome
special effect.
Yeah, like it was awesome.
Like they might not have been the best movies, like Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, but they had some dope freaking lightsaber battles.
Revenge of the Sith has like the best ever. With General Hux. Like, I think, like, you there could have been a lot more there.
Yeah.
Did have some interesting scenes. Like, I think one of the most funny moments, like actual funny, did not like feel forced. that part. And then when Kylo Ren was like, "I'm going down there," and like he's like, "You don't need to go down there." Like he slams him up against the wall, and the guy that's in the seat is like, "Right away, sir." That was funny.
Like there could have been enough humor with those alone to be fine. But like when like after the explosion or whatever, and Rey and Kylo was unconscious and Rey was gone, like you see him come in there and he's like, he sees Snoke's dead and he looks over at Kylo and he like pulls his blaster out and then Kylo wakes up and he goes, puts it away.
Yeah.
I was like,
if I was him, if I was General Hux, I would be killing him. Like I would put a bullet in his head.
But if I saw him stirring like that too, I've been like,
oh yeah.
what is my bidding, my master?
You're the supreme overlord now, or that sort of deal. With Mark Hamill, like I think the coolest scene out of all of it, like once you know everything that happened, is when he uses the Force projection to fight Kylo Ren, and like he even talks to Leia, which I thought was really cool.
Oh yeah.
But that's the first time, and that's interesting. The first time he's opened himself up to the Force, he's able to
do all that.
project
That's how
and do
strong
all
he
that.
was. Like I was sitting there, I'm like when they were shooting him, I'm like, how is he going to dodge this? I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, and then I saw him come out, and he goes, I'm like, I am so confused, but it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And then you find out he's a projection.
Yeah, and like the whole fight, I'm just like, wow, that is really cool. Like Luke is freaking
Like,
awesome.
when he does his
Yeah. And like he's like spinning around and everything. I'm like, this is
yeah.
this is awesome. I'm like, this is really cool. And Amy, she was like, I feel like there's an Obi-Wan thing fixing to happen here where you like if you strike me down, and even says like I'll be there, always to
I'll be around every turn or whatever.
Yeah, that sort of deal. And then like Kylo like runs and goes through him. I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. And then he like turns around and he's still there. I'm like, what the crap is going on? And then he's like, bzz. I'm like, oh.
And that's when you see him like floating in there, not doing that, of course.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
like, floating and then
Yeah, he like you see the sunset split, and it's reminiscent of the two moons of Tatooine. I thought that was a really nice touch, and I really enjoyed that. I really wish they would have changed it where Leia would have gone and Luke would have stayed there. And I know some people have said, "Oh well, he can come back." Like once you become part of the Force, you can't come back.
There's no coming back. Force Ghost, yes, which apparently have just as much power as real life.
Yeah,
Force users.
even more. But like with Kylo Ren's like arc and everything, I thought it was really interesting to show why he went to the dark side as much as he did, because Luke went after him. Like I was very surprised, and like he had a human moment where he was like, this might be another Darth Vader that we're fixing to deal with here. And like he turned on his lightsaber and he was like, oh my god, what am I doing? And like before he could turn it off,
Kylo was awake.
Ben was awake, and like
Ben, yeah.
At that point he was still Ben. Like that's a big deal right there.
And I mean, now you have your Vader and you created him. Like
Yeah.
he even
The thing that you were trying to avoid the most, you created it. And like that was big. That was good writing. That was really good writing.
I mean, it really, like, because fear leads to hate leads to anger, and of course,
And Luke had fear in his heart.
and he even said it multiple times that I failed you as a teacher and all that stuff, and like even it bled into the fight with him trying to, he apologized to Kylo, but by that time it's far too late, and because I know after The Force Awakens, I came up with the idea that Kylo didn't kill Han. Like, Han turned the lightsaber on himself so that his son has a chance of redemption. I think redemption's
gone.
Yeah.
Like, he's fully at the dark side now.
Because you saw him hesitate to kill his mother.
Yeah, you did. You definitely did. And then I think after Snoke and everything, like, he saw the opportunity to become more powerful, and like it was definitely a Darth Vader Luke moment where he was asking Rey to join him and everything, which I thought was cool to see that that kind of
the dynamic.
Yeah, that duality right there. But what was interesting with Luke's fight, and I was like, why is he looking younger? Like his beard was darker. It was shaved and everything, and he was actually fighting with Anakin's lightsaber, the blue lightsaber, not the green one that he had. And at that point in time, that lightsaber had already broke
Yeah.
because they were pulling it apart. So that should have been our first tip off that this wasn't real or whatever. But I really enjoyed that part. I think that's one of my favorite parts of the movie. I liked the sacrifice at the beginning of the movie of the bomber and everything. Like that was an emotional part.
She was at Pensacon, and like we were going to try to get an interview, but because of this movie, she wasn't allowed to talk. Which now I understand why. She has some killer music that she's listening to, but I mean, people are going to sacrifice. And when we talked about the medallion, they both had this medallion that came together to make a full one. And when her sister died, that's when Rose. And one thing that I do like about the Rose story is it shows that, like, I guess there's a message within the message that doesn't matter who you are, because she said all I talk to is pipes and everything like that. But it does show that in that universe, anybody can be a hero.
Yeah.
You have a son of two moisture farmers become the Jedi Master.
Well, technically the nephew of
Nephew. I mean, technically he was in the son role. So I know he was the nephew.
I know, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
But yeah.
So let's finish it out with the whole Laura Dern, like Poe Dameron story. I thought it was just a very poor way of like moving the story along with her not telling everything. But the cool thing that came out of it was her driving the ship through
all the
other ones. Oh my God, that was awesome.
When you saw her turning around, and I was like, "What is she doing? There's no way she's firing on them."
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, "The hyperdrive's they're like
activated.
It's just a ploy. Don't." And then she turned around, and they were like, "Move, get out of the way." And she was just
boom. Like that
silence was super cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was one of the coolest looking and sounding moments like in the whole movie. Like that will stay with me for the rest of my life because that was a really awesome thing to do.
Like we've said, guys, this is a movie you need to see. Yes, there were some parts in it that we thought could have been done a lot better, but like that moment and other moments, the Kylo Ren Rey fight, there were moments that, as Star Wars fans, that you need to see. And then you'll kind of see what we're talking about on the downside of things. But there's enough good in this movie to make it worth your $10 to $15, whatever you watch it on. It's worth it. Go see it. Support Lucasfilms. And I think once J.J. Abrams gets the 9th movie, I think we'll see more of what we saw from The Force Awakens.
Well, and like I know a lot of people are bashing this movie right now. I would not tell anybody, don't go watch this movie.
No.
I would tell them straight face, go watch this movie. I think you'll enjoy it.
If I saw Phantom Menace right now with how it was, I would still tell you to go see it because it's a Star Wars movie.
And like Robbie said, there's good things, there's bad things. It's still a Star Wars film. And when the day is over, like it's got, I think the good outweighs the bad.
I do too.
And when, like, I know a lot of fandoms, like, they kind of like consume themselves, like the hatred and all of that kind of stuff. Like we're just critiquing what we saw, like and giving props to where there were awesome things because there were some really cool moments. I think like the Chewie and like Rey and the Millennium Falcon on that planet.
Oh my God.
Like that was awesome. And I loved the bombers. Like the bombers were a lot like the bombers that we had in World War II where it had like the turret on the bottom and everything and like
the drops.
Yeah, like that was so much different than your Y-wing bombers and everything that shoot protons. Like, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a really cool way to like introduce something new into the world.
Like I think that it was because of how everything has been going and the Rebels are so short on resources, I think they had to dive into like lower budget things instead of a Y-wing. They had to go with this, which is like the next best thing, which like I said, aesthetically it was pleasing to me. Like I loved it.
I really liked that. That was a cool thing. So there you go, guys.
Let us know what you think about it at the comments below. I know we just popped back in from spoilers, but people who watched the unspoiler and the spoiler, let us know what you think, because this is great discussions actually going on the Nerd Cave page about what everybody's thought about the movie. So let us know.
Yeah, let us know, guys. Thanks for watching episode 237 of the Nerd Cave podcast. Each and every week we come to you with all the nerdy news that you need to know. If you want to get it early, all you have to do is go over to patreon.com/nerdcave, toss us a few dollars, mate Robbie, and get the podcast early. If you don't have any bucks to toss us, that's okay, because you can go over.
Throw us a dough.
Oh, Lord. You can go over to youtube.com/nerdcave network and check it day by day, segment by segment, until we put the whole thing up over on YouTube and podcast services around the world. I enjoyed this.
It was fun.
I enjoyed talking the movie.
That was probably my favorite part.
Yeah.
That and the Disney-Fox merger.
Yeah.
Or takeover, whichever.
Whatever.
But it's a very enjoyable
Yeah.
podcast, my friend.
Yes. If you enjoyed it, let us know. If you want to hear podcasts more like this, let us know in the comments below.
The condiments.
The condiments below. Some of that mayonnaise.
I love ketchup.
I love ketchup. Again, everybody, don't miss out on our live show that's going to be this Thursday. It's going to be the best of 2017. I'm sure Star Wars is going to come up at some point in time.
Now, it's from 10 o'clock
10 o'clock
Central.
Time, yep. Until 6:30 is when the podcast is going to start. No telling how long the podcast is going to go.
I'm going to 6:30.
2 hours.
I'm going to say right around 8:30 Central Time.
Yeah.
Maybe even 9.
Something like that.
There's going to be 4 or 5 people talking on it.
4 or 5 people talking. We're going to be wrapping up the year. It will be our last Nerd Cave podcast of the year. We're going to be taking some time off. We're going to be
working on some new things that we think that you guys will like. We like to shake it up every now and
I
then.
like that shimmy you got together. Shimmy, shimmy, shaw, shimmy,
Shimmy, shimmy, Cocoa Puff. Let me see your thing.
There you go. But yeah, we're working on a lot of cool ideas. The live show is going to be really, really fun. We're working on some.
It's jam-packed.
It's jam-packed. PUBG. We got Mario Kart. We got
Life is Strange.
Life is Strange. I almost said
Strange.
Life is Strange. You know what I mean. Just going all over the gambit. But it is going to be awesome. And I hope to see everyone there.
Yes.
We're going to have some prizes, some giveaways, some reveals. We're going to be revealing things. Robbie's going to take his shirt off.
There's actually nothing there. Like this shirt.
It's going to just be another shirt. That's literally his skin. He's painted it on.
Yep.
But it's going to be a ton of fun. So call your boss. Be like, boss,
I can't come to work today.
I can't come to work. I'm sick. Like, you don't sound sick. I'm sick.
I'm sick.
So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't hear from us again, Merry Christmas, everybody. This has been Zach.
And Robbie.
Have a week.